Well, like every talk show host, I have my group of favorite guests. But Ron Alford, who is a crisis management expert who specializes in insurance, and he wrote the book, How to Win the Insurance Claim Game, has agreed to take calls. So Ron Alford is one of my favorite guests before I ever even interviewed him. You can give us a call at 800-321-0710, 800-321-0710, if you have any questions about the claims that you'd like to file. And Ron, thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's my pleasure. And I think that today we're going to start to shine a little light on the dark side of the insurance business, claims.
Yeah, well, I think, by the way, I just have to ask you this. I notice more and more terms like Superstorm Sandy and the nor'easters, Sandy and Athena, and Tropical Storm Sandy, and what would have happened if it was greater. Is that because no one wants to use the word hurricane?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The insurance industry is so good at writing exclusions of their contracts. Oh, by the way, you hear them as policies. They're really not. They're contracts. They're legal documents. They say policy because it sounds better. People don't like to buy contracts. They like policies. But in any event, the contract of insurance in most cases, a hurricane says you got like a 10 or 15% deductible, which means in some cases $5,000, $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, depending on the value of your home. But if it's a storm, then that deductible doesn't apply. And I think our friend Governor Christie over across the big river there said that this was a storm, not a hurricane, when it hit the shore. So therefore, it is. And I'm happy about that.
Yeah, well, that's the most productive revenue generator New Jersey's had, is just his classification of that storm.
Mm-hmm. Let's, if you don't mind, let's start at the beginning, at the bottom of the ladder, and let's talk about insurance anyhow. The way the insurance industry has managed to brainwash and train billions of people around the United States and Canada and the world is to pretend that insurance is just a necessary evil, and so you need to buy it like you would get cornflakes or toilet paper. Buy it in a box, and it's just going to be fine, and let's get some discounts or talk to a gecko or some animal. Let me ask you a question. Does the word contingency planning mean anything to the audience?
Well, I would hope it would, because that's the whole problem. Just generally, you see this in the medical field, the insurance field, and even in some areas of education. We just accept what's there as if there's no alternative.
We're all done with that. You got Ron Alford on the phone, and we're going to turn the tide on the ignorance of the insurance consumer, hopefully with you today and around the world tomorrow. And I'm dead serious, because I wrote that book, How to Win the Insurance Claim Game, 15 years ago, and it's more valuable today than it was then, because now we have, I wrote it before Andrew, Katrina, Irene, and now we have Sandy, which proves one thing. Consumers, no matter how smart they are, have been brainwashed to believe that the insurance industry is something that helps them. The real truth is, I renamed the insurance industry to the grief business, because there's no such thing as winning anything. You have to lose your car, your house, your ability to work, your life. You have to lose something big before you can even get tossed into the game. Oh, and when do you learn to play the game? It's like learning to swim after your ship sinks.
So on that note, how about this? What is covered under people's insurance policies that they probably don't know and theoretically will never claim?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff in there, but the first big thing to come to my mind under the homeowner's contract, most of them, not all, is the ALE, the additional living expense, which means that if you're living in a 5-bedroom house somewhere and the house is uninhabitable, you're entitled to go to another 5-bedroom house, not Motel 6. You're entitled to that. They have got to pay under that. But let me ask you this. Do you think that the insurance agent, its adjusters, or anybody that works for the insurance industry is going to tell you all of those things?
I'd be very disappointed if they weren't telling people that. I'd be shocked to hear that.
No, come on. I mean, we both hear sarcasm flying through the air right now, and you're absolutely right. The real business of insurance is that it is nothing but a huge game. It's not the insurance business in and of itself is nothing more than a lottery like the folks have out in Las Vegas called the gaming industry.
Well, you know, it's interesting because theoretically, you have a claim, and if you file the claim, you now are trying to excise your part of the contract. And the insurance company's role is to try to make sure you can't get it.
Let's tell you right there and go on. That's a perfect point to make. Right this minute, if you do not have any issues, you are called a perfect and wonderful customer. The very second you file a claim, you become an adversary of the insurance industry, and they immediately send your contract over to the rescission department in the first order of business to see how they can deny claims, because it says that you're insured up to 12:01 a.m. at the address where the contract is. If your flood or blowout has it at 12:02 p.m., I got news for you. They will not pay.
Yeah, and will do anything.
Is that friendly or what?
We'll do anything. It kind of reminds me, was it the movie The Rainmaker, where the kid was paralyzed and they wrote the letter, we told you your claim is denied. Any further contact is stupid.
Right.
It was unbelievable.
Unfortunately, I'm not in the business. When people call in, they want to talk medical, they need to talk to somebody else. I'm the guy, they usually call me Alfie, the insurance claim go-to guy. And here's a plug. They can find me at 1-800-THE-CLAIM. Now, isn't that cute?
1-800-THE-CLAIM.
Claim, C-L-A-I-M.
Oh, the claim. 1-800-THE-CLAIM.
Rather than call the number, they can go to 1-800-THECLAIM.com and see everything
All right.
they're talking about.
Now, we've got somebody holding on, Mike from Long Beach. Mike, do you have a question for Ron Alford?
Yes, I do, Ron. My question is, basically during the superstorm, my property, I did not get flooding in the basement, but what I actually had was the sewage back up, and it filled it about 2 feet. And I'm just concerned that somehow the insurance company, when the adjuster comes this Friday, is going to find a way to say, oh, you're not covered based on that, just for flood.
Do you have flood insurance?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, what's your deductible?
My deductible, to be honest, I am not sure.
Bingo. Strike one. Here's the thing, Mike. You should really know everything that you know. Here's an example. You drive a car, right? Do you?
Yes.
Well, you bought the car. You know how to drive it, right?
Of course.
Okay, so not for you, but for the rest of the people listening to this broadcast, never buy an insurance policy unless you know how to collect the money first. Otherwise, it's like buying a parachute and not knowing how to use it. What's the point?
Correct.
You get it? I'm not here to admonish you. I'm here to help you, educate, and support you and yours, all the people around you. I've been to Long Beach. I spent a week out there walking around telling people, look, this is what you really need to do first, second, and third. God, don't wait till the insurance company comes and tells you how much money you lost. That's a conflict of interest.
Oh, Ron, now, I may get a call from my mother today because my mother and I have been having a discussion, we'll call it, since I was 19. So that was a while back. And the discussion was about my contention that a lot of these issues that you're raising now should be built into our educational system.
Bingo! I got news for you, Gov. You can go to 10,000 schools around the country, and you won't find one school that is
because these
how to buy insurance and manage risk and contingency planning.
These are the issues you face when you get out in the world, and nobody teaches anyone. Oh, but the credit card companies will send you a credit card when you're 17.
Got news for you. When you go to get that credit card company looks up and down your credit rating, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Say it again?
Why? Why do they check out your credit rating? What are they looking for?
Your capacity to pay them back.
Right. Now, then tell me how many people buy insurance from one of these discount companies and ask this question. How do I know out of the 300 or 400 insurance companies that are licensed
that this one will pay me back?
That their quality of claim paying is equal to or better than somebody like the Erie or there's a zillion companies that I know of that's part of the plan.org. Write that down, theplan.org. We'll get to that later. But there's a unique thing about something that I know, because I've been doing this for 35 years for consumers. I know which insurance companies are good to buy from and which ones are not. Discounts mean nothing.
So now let's get back to Mike's question.
Go.
He's got sewage backed up into his house, right, Mike?
Yes, that's correct.
That flooded his house.
I got a big question for you. What had you done actively in order to minimize continual or additional losses as a result of that event?
Well, after that, basically, I've gutted out my whole entire basement and getting ready to redo it.
Good. Did you document all that before you started?
Definitely did pictures and everything.
Well, the first order of business when you suffer a claim or loss is that you should immediately open up a little 3-ring binder book and start a diary, and you keep everything that you do in that book and diary, every word that's said, everyone you talk to, when you call somebody, they call you, name, telephone, address, what you said, and you make a Bible out of that recovery book. If you don't, you're going to end up with a short stick somewhere along.
So basically the answer is that the adjuster will try to talk him out of it, but his claim is good.
Mike's got to prove, here's the deal, it's not up to the adjuster to tell Mike how much money he's lost. It's up to Mike to get back into normal and to pay whatever is reasonable and fair prices it's going to cost to rebuild that place. Now, there's one hitch here. He may or may not be covered, but whether he is or not, he's going to have to do that anyhow. So you might as well do it right and on the first step, and you present the claim without any lies, without any big deals of it. You don't ever want to lie to an insurance company.
Right. In a standard policy, would he be covered for that?
Not in the homeowner's policy, no, because insurance companies, executives are so good at what they do. They only insure things that won't happen, like parts of airplanes falling out of the sky, landing on your chimney at 2 in the afternoon. That's covered. You see, but the fact that you may have a flood or a sewer backup like they have in Laurelton, Queens, every time we have 2 pinches of rain in 1 hour, everybody in Laurelton's toilet backs up through it because the sewer systems won't handle it. And are they?
Yeah, there's a gully under Union Turnpike. That's part of the problem.
Well, you know the place. But again, there are all kinds of things. Remember, I've been in this business as I started the company Disaster Masters in 1980. I've managed over 13,000 different kinds of fires, floods, and insurance claims. So I got a pretty good idea what consumers don't know.
All right. Well, Mike, we think we answered your question. Now we're going to take a break, and we'll come back and talk to Ron Alford, who will tell you how to avoid a lot of these problems. If you care to join us, 800-321-0710, 800-321-0710. We'll take a break, and we'll be back. Let's get back here and talk to Ron Alford some more. Ron, you said earlier, and we're talking about insurance claims, you said earlier, never lie to the insurance company. Well,
No.
I figured that wouldn't be a good idea. But why are so many people charged with insurance fraud? And frankly, how legitimate are the charges?
There are people.
I mean, in some cases, there are crooks everywhere.
Right.
So I know about them.
Okay.
But sometimes you'll hear about someone being charged with insurance fraud who's, had no other record or, just not likely to be doing that kind of thing.
Gov, there's a couple of things that I need to bring to your attention. Do you have any idea what the AIA is? You don't? So
Yes, I actually do.
It's the American Insurance Association. It's funded by 300 of the largest insurance companies on the planet. They have a budget of over $1 billion. You want to talk about a lobby? That's the one that goes down to the federal level, and they lobby. That's why you don't have insurance as a federal business.
I always attended their events. They'd have them right here in the city.
It just keeps on and it stinks. Now then, tell me this. How many associations across America do you know of where consumers can be represented? Right. There are none. That's the reason I created it at theplan.com. I'm sorry, theplan.org.
Right.
All right, so that's a plug. Here's one other. This is free. This is going to be a short interview, and I appreciate your having me on, but I'm going to leave some lasting benefits. You go to YouTube, and you go and look at the channel called 1-800-THE-CLAIM, and you'll find me there ranting in 30-second and 60-second little videos. It's going to educate the hell out of everybody. It takes time to go look at them.
Okay, finally, I have one more question because I just keep hearing about this all the time. In terms of coverage, trees that fall on the neighbor's house and food that's spoiled in the refrigerator or in the freezer.
The food that spoils in the refrigerator and the freezer a nickel dime, although it could be a couple $100, that's not really the purpose of insurance. The tree that falls on the neighbor's house, your insurance contract has a liability portion in there, and the neighbor sues, calls you up and says, look, you owe me money because your tree fell on my house. The insurance company, your insurance company, pays that claim under the liability section of the contract, and that's that.
Okay. Ron Alford, thanks so much for joining us. Ron Alford wrote the book, How to Win the Insurance Claim Game, and thanks for joining us.